Hey everybody, I wanted to share a mid-year update for my 6th grader. Earlier in the last week I shared an update on our group subjects and an update on my 3rd grader's curriculum. So today I'm going to show you my 6th grader. She has a little planner that I made for her. I actually need to add some more pages in, but it just has a calendar and then it has weekly pages for the things she does independently. I just write on there and she checks them off. Here's a blank one I can show you. So here I fill out the dates ahead of time and then I write the things she has to do independently and then she checks those off. So that's been working fine. Probably the thing that we've struggled with the most for her is vocabulary. And I thought that I saved it so I could show you guys, and I did not. I mean, maybe I did, but I cannot find it anywhere. But we were using Sadler Vocabulary Level A, which comes after the colored level. So once you go through green, orange, blue, I think there's purple and red in there. Anyway, after you finish the 5 colored levels, 6th grade would be level A. And she was really struggling with it. And we spent a lot of time on it. It was something she had done independently. And when she was struggling with it a little bit, I got an additional copy and I started working one-on-one with her on it. And the thing there's a couple of things, which is why I wish I had it to show you, that I realized that we really love the colored levels, but what I disliked about level A is that, first of all, there are 20 words in the unit that they're learning. And I think, to look back at the colored level, but I don't think the colored level has 20 words. I think it has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it has 12 words. So every unit has 20 words. And at first I thought, well, we'll just spread it out over 2 weeks. But the thing is they're still trying to learn 20 words at one time. And that can prove to be a little difficult. And then a couple other things we ran across is that it was bringing in words that hadn't been taught in this level, that you needed to know in order to answer their questions. And then the other thing, I guess there were 3 things. Of those 20 words, you worked with like 10 at a time, but all in the same unit. Usually in the beginning of like the colored ones, there's like an article or a story that you read. And in the one in level A, it doesn't use all of the words. It only uses some of them. And then it breaks down, like when you go to work with the definitions, you work with 10 of them, you do like 1 or 2 activities, then you work with the other 10 and you do 1 or 2 activities. So I felt like it was too many words. I didn't think there was enough work with those words. Like, I think it would have been more successful if they had just stuck with 12 words. So anyway, we spent a lot of time trying to make that work, and I decided that it just wasn't. I still like Sadler Vocabulary Workshop, but just the colored levels. I don't like the letter levels. So I was on the hunt for something else for her, but I didn't really want to spend a ton of money because, you know, we're partway through the year now. We'd already, spent the bulk of our homeschool budget. And there's other like what's the one that everyone uses? Oh shoot, I can't think of it. There's another vocabulary program that we've used before. I don't like it. And then we have Word Wisdom with Zaner Blozer, but again, I would have had to buy that new, and it's kind of expensive. So I didn't want to do that. So what I found, and we're still figuring this out, this is another book by Sadler Vocabulary, or Sadler, I'm not sure how you say it. And this one on their website, this is called Vocabulary for Success, and it's level A, but it says if you have a struggling student or a student at grade level that this would work. And so I thought, well, let's go ahead and take a look at this. There's things I like about this one and also things that I don't, but for right now, we're doing it. I think we're not very far. We just finished lesson 4, so we're on to lesson 5. But anyway, there is a little essay or article or something in the beginning. 6, 8, 10. Yeah, this focuses on 10 words. It uses all 10 in the article, and then it lists them over here. And then there's usually a talk about it activity, which I just do with her rather than obviously a classmate. It has the word meanings here. And then there's just this word talk they have every lesson where basically it'll list all the lesson words. And then like this one, you draw a picture to illustrate the word. Some of the other ones, you do other things like here, you put the words in categories. So I think that's fun, and I think she likes that. There's a kind of fill in the blank here, applying other meanings, word associations, another page there, word solving strategies, and then this one has practice for tests, and then we go into the next lesson. So it's fine. I think, I don't know. There's things I like about it, things I don't. One I will tell you I hate is that this paper is like, I swear it's like carbon paper, and when you write on it, let me see if I can show you, it comes through to the other side, which is really annoying. So you can kind of see like how they're writing. Well, maybe you can, I don't know, that the writing comes through. So that's annoying. Anyway, this is for 6th grade. And like I said, it may be designed for struggling students. I don't really find that it's like at a lower level. It's just that it uses less words. So we're trying this. She also has her word ladders that we've been using for the last, I don't know, year or two. So I think she does these once a week. She's on page 60 of 106. So on Fridays, she does one of these. The rest of the day, she does this and something else I'll show you. And I'm trying to decide if I need to keep this while we're doing the other thing. I'm not sure yet, but this is what we replaced our original Sadler Vocabulary Workshop Level A with. She is doing Fix It Grammar this year. Again, this is level 2, Town Mouse and Country Mouse. It's going fine. For her learning style, I really like this program because it's very repetitive and there's just little chunks each day. You know, she corrects it. Typically, at the beginning of the week, I read through the lesson with her, and then the rest of the week during her independent work, she does the corrections, and then during our one-on-one time, she brings it out and we go over it. For the rewriting part, her cursive needed some work, so I have her do this part in cursive, and then this can be used kind of as her handwriting. I don't have a separate handwriting for her, so that's been fine. We like it. She is doing IEW's Phonetic Zoo for spelling. She did it last year. She's on level C. We're only on lesson 17, which I feel like we should be further, but I think there's 46. Yeah, there's 46 lessons in here, but we don't do, every few lessons there's a, let's see if I can find one. There's a personal spelling where you make your own words. We don't do those. So anyway, hopefully we finish it this year because I really want to be done with it. But pretty much this is all done independently for her. We have the lessons on, we have a phone we use for school. She listens to them. She just writes we had to get a new notebook because she filled the other one. She does the words on this side, then she listens to the corrections and writes them on this side and grades her work. When she gets 15 2 days in a row, then she moves on to the next list. I was just gonna say something about this and now I don't remember what it was. I don't remember. Anyway, so yeah, spelling has been, oh, I know what I was gonna say. She doesn't do, last year I had a whole binder for her and the little zoo cards. When you mastered a list, you put that animal's card in the zoo pocket. She didn't want to do that this year, so we just do it this way. All right, the biggest change other than vocabulary for her is our reading and kind of literature. I mentioned, I think I did a whole nother video and I talked about it in our group subjects, but each of my kids had a reading notebook this year. They have a log that they keep in the front where they write every book they read, no matter what we're gonna do with that book. If they read it, they put it in here. And then for some of them, like last year we did that, and then I just had them fill out one of these sheets that I made where they pick what activity they want to do. So that's what they did last year. This year I mixed in some of those, and then I found different literature study packets on like Teachers Pay Teachers, and so they were doing some of those. And we were finding that, especially with my 6th grader, that it was becoming a struggle and it was kind of killing the love for reading a little bit. So I decided from here on out, their independent reading is in fact independent reading. They pick it. We do bedtime reading now, so they, rather than having their independent reading as part of our school day, they do it when they get in bed at night. When they finish a book, they write it in here. And then usually I still have them fill out one of these pages. But it's brought back their, I guess, love for reading. But I was still worried about how do I make sure I'm covering all of those things that you would normally cover in a literature study. So I decided to pull out and do Wonders for her. A few years ago, I made a video about Wonders. I think I bought every grade level they had. And the particular year that I bought them for, we didn't end up using them because it just duplicated some other things that we had. And it was, at that particular year, not the easiest one for me to implement. So this year, I pulled them out for both my kids. This is the grade 6 edition. And this allows us to do reading in a way that she enjoys and that I make sure is still covering all of those things you want them, you want to make sure they know comprehension strategies and skills, different genres, different writing types of things, all of that kind of stuff. So, but it's just a smaller selection that they're reading. So she and I do this one-on-one. And I'll give you a little clue here. There's usually an introduction to the lesson with the essential question. This one happens to be how do new experiences offer new perspectives? And there's usually a talk about it section here where you make some kind of graphic organizer and kind of organize your thoughts and answers to the question. Then it goes into vocabulary. And so it gives you, it uses the word in a sentence and asks you a question about it. It does not like write the definition out for you. So I did add something in for this. I'll show you in a minute. And then there's lots of these your turn sections where you can expand on it. So here it says pick 3 words, write 3 questions for a partner to answer. Then we get into the actual story. And there's your essential question again. The vocabulary words are highlighted. Again, there's make connections, things to talk about. And then it gets into different, more standards and strategies. So here we have the visualize strategy. It walks you through finding text evidence. So we just have been doing these pages kind of one-on-one. Here we get into a comprehension skill of character setting and plot, find text evidence, and there was a chart here you could fill out. It gives you a little activity to do here. The genre was realistic fiction, so it gives you characteristics of realistic fiction. It has you go back to the text to see if you can find those characteristics in the story, in the text. Again, there's a your turn activity. Here we have a vocabulary strategy of sentence clues. And then there's always a writing component to it as well. And then you get into the next unit. So we are not very far in this because, like I said, we started at mid-year. I think we're on like lesson 3 right now. But that's kind of how it works. So you can see there's different strategies, different genres that they can learn about. And so we're not, like, I don't have a teacher manual for this. We're kind of laid back with it, but it's working really well. And this also allows me to tie in, in our group subjects I shared, we do the writing revolution. This really allows me to tie that into some of these activities. So that's that. Now there is a practice book that you can get. It's called the Your Turn Practice Book. I did order this for her. This particular one was used, so I had to go through and erase a bunch of stuff. But let me show you kind of how it's, here we go. So this is the beginning of this is Unit 1, Week 3, so this will be the 3rd lesson. Again, this was used, so I had to erase, and it's highlighted, but it's fine. Only the first part was used. So it has a vocabulary page that ties in with the vocabulary in, let's see, the vocabulary here. And then here we're reading the selection, and we're talking about the main idea and the key details. And that one comes right from here. So you could just do this on another sheet of paper. I decided to just get this, and we'll do it here. Then there's another, this is comprehension and fluency. Another little activity here that they answer, read and answer questions. This is about the genre, I believe. Let's go along. Oops. So I believe this one goes with here. Yeah, genre, text features. So this ties into this. This page ties into this page. There's always something kind of like phonics or spelling related, and we don't always do these because I assume this goes with a different part of the program that we're not doing, because there always seems to be one page that we leave out. Like here's irregular plurals, so more of, but you know, I don't know, we may not always leave them out. The last one was, this was like long vowels, and so we just didn't do that one. And then here we have the write and analysis, which goes in here. And this is part of it. And then you go on to the next week. So we're on, I believe, week 3 this week. And so that's how we've been using that. The other thing I added, again, when we were kind of trying to figure out what we wanted to do for vocabulary, I found on Teachers Pay Teachers, her username is Bama Girl, and she has these vocabulary trifolds to go along with the different versions of Wonders. So at 3 different days, I just have her do a different column. This one, she looks them up in the dictionary and writes out the definition. Here she fills in the blank. And this one, she finds a synonym for, yeah, they're pretty much all the same. They follow the same pattern, so. All right, so that pretty much sums up the language arts. We do history as a group. I also had this 6th grade social studies book for her. This is from Gallopade Press, and it's specific to Ohio. We're not super far because we just added this back in, so I think we're only on, we're in the middle of, no, we're ready to start chapter 3. No, did we not even finish chapter 2? I guess we didn't finish chapter 2 yet. The chapters in her book are longer than, we just started chapter 2. They're longer than the chapters in my 3rd grader's book. So anyway, we're moving really slow, but she likes it. And again, this is something we do very laid back. We just read through it together. I either have her read to me or I read to her, just depending. And then she does whatever the activities are. So that's fine. We're just not very far into it. This is just something she does here and there on her own. I will randomly write it in her assignment book, or if there's a particular activity that I want to do kind of with her, we'll do it during our one-on-one time. The only other 2 things I have left for her individual work are health, and then I had gotten her this skill sharpener science. I decided pretty early on not to have her do this, just because this is not the way she learns best. And it was just going to be extra. She already has plenty of science. These are great for this particular child if I'm adding it in as part of something else. Like we use these in 3rd grade for her. But I used it along with core knowledge and along with a science kit from Lakeshore Learning, and that was great. This was a great like addition to that. But for me, just to throw it in as like a just in case, I want to make sure she has exposure to the grade level standards. It's really just going to be a time waster because she's not going to retain a ton of this information. So I decided she didn't need the busy work. I pulled that pretty early on. The last thing we have is health and fitness. And we only are through, I think, the first chapter. And I pulled it just because she had enough other stuff to do. So I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to add this back in for this last half of the year or if I'm going to hold off and have her do this in the summer. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. So that is everything that my 6th grader is doing. That is her update. If you have any questions, just let me know.